Hello and welcome to the Destiny Forum. And I'm so glad that you joined me in today. And I'm going to be speaking today on a very interesting topic, what I call discouragement destroys destiny. Discouragement destroys destiny. Now, throughout this series, we've been emphasizing the idea that God has a plan for all of us. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, nor has it entered into the mind of man what God has in store for them that love him. And so throughout the biblical text, really, we encounter individuals who experience discouragement in diverse ways. And these discouragements either enabled them, depending on their reaction, their response to the discouragement, to achieve or realize their destiny or fail to realize their destiny. In other words, what God had in store for them. And then we always say that destiny has a twofold dimensions. There is a dimension of God and there is a dimension of the human. That is to say, there is a role that God plays and there's a role that we do play on a human level. And so the dimension of God is granted, is given. But what remains now is up to us really to rise up to the occasion and ensure we cooperate with God so we can realize our own destiny. I'm going to be using a story of a man called David, one of the greatest kings that Israel ever had. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter number 17 rather, we are told of an encounter that David had with a man called Saul. Observe these words. I pick from verse number 31 of the New King James Version. Now, when the words which David spoke were heard, they reported them to Saul, the Saul, and he sent for him. Then David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him, talking about Goliath here, a threat to the people of Israel. The whole army is at a standstill. The whole nation is at a standstill because of the threat that Goliath posed to them. Now observe these words. He said, your servant will go and fight with this Philistine. So David said, your servant, this David, is going to rise up and fight this so-called giant. I'm sure Saul was surprised. How can this young man be uttered these kinds of words? And so Saul said to David in response, you're not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him. Why? Saul says, for you are a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. In other words, Saul is Goliath is a very experienced individual. And you, David, on the other hand, you don't have what it takes to combat, to engage in a fight with a person of the stature of Goliath. Now, this is remarkable. Okay? I want you to observe here that there is something going on. In other words, the enemy is setting up David for discouragement. Discouragement because David is about ready to enter a new phase, if you will, a new stage towards the fulfillment of his destiny. And so, the devil has an idea as to what God may have in store for each one of us. And it is always in his interest to raise barricades, barriers, stumbling blocks, if you will, okay, opposition to us so we don't achieve our destiny. And one of the sort of a barricade, in my opinion, that he often utilizes has to do with discouragement. And so it is our responsibility as individuals on a human level for us to make sure that we do not succumb to this discouragement. Now, notice here that it's almost here God's undoing. David is at home, and the father said, okay, my son, I want you to take these provisions and give to your brothers. And so the brothers of David were enlisted in the military. Okay? In this very interesting incident, really, the destiny of David is about to unfold, and the devil knows it. And God is ordering the steps of David. Why? The steps of a man are ordered by the Lord. And so it's not just happening. For somehow perhaps David has an idea of that. Maybe there is an opportunity here presenting itself. This is my moment. This is my time. This is my occasion. And so David is not prepared really to let this opportunity really just go by. And he's going to come at it the way I expect you, certainly myself, to embrace the opportunities that come our way. Now, observe these words, okay? Look at the response that David says here. He said, but David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep. And when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from his mouth. And when it arose against me, I caught it by its beard and struck and killed it. So your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them. It's because he has defied the armies of the living God. I love David. He said, the God who delivered me from the hands of the bear and the lion will deliver me from the hand of Goliath. Notice here that David is not confronting discouragement here on his own terms. David is confronting discouragement based on his relationship with God, based on his knowledge of God, based on the testimony of his previous encounters, really, like he said here, with the bear and the lion. And David understood when he saw this king of Israel, Saul, if at the moment, okay, if that's the case, well, I want you to wear my own uniform, use my armory, so that you can confront this Goliath. Well, if it is your armor, if it is your sword, so then why don't you go fight him yourself? And David says, no, I don't feel comfortable in wearing your own armory, your suit, using your weapons as it were. David understood, because victory will not be granted because of Saul's own instruction here. He refused to create any space for anybody to claim any glory, as it were, or credit, but God alone. He said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine to defy the armies of the living God? So he steps up there and he says, no, discouragement, you have no platform whatsoever in my life. You have no other room in my own life. I'm going to embrace my destiny. I'm going to come after my destiny. And today, he says, Goliath, he said, look, I'm going to cut off your head. Now, you have to understand what David is doing here. Okay? He said, I, David, I'm going to cut off your head, you Goliath. In other words, it's your end. Because Goliath was also intimidating David. Goliath using his own stature, his very presence. Now, to be fair, Goliath, until David came on the scene, he had succeeded really in sending this message of terror. Okay, so the armies of Israel were terrified, including the brothers of David. And so it worked until another individual, David by name, showed up and says, no, I understand what's going on here. There is a remarkable opportunity presenting itself here. The God of Israel knows no defeat, and discouragement itself can deprive you, can destroy your destiny. And David understood and refused to give discouragement an opportunity. Listen to me very, very carefully. The devil has an idea of the kind of destiny that God has in store for you. Satan has an idea of what lies ahead of you. And that's why sometimes he subjects you to all kinds of instances that you ought to be discouraged. He subjects you to all kinds of situations that discouragement should get a hold of your own heart. And when that happens, then you lose focus. Then the discouragement destroys the very destiny God wanted to bring you to. Now, notice here, if David had looked at the stature of Goliath, just like the other soldiers in the camp of Israel, he would have missed his opportunity. Now, to be fair, the same God who delivered David from Goliath could have delivered also Israel as a nation without David, if only they had recognized and understood. No, it is God who fights for us. It's not ourselves. Now, look at David just using the slingshot here and let go, aiming at Goliath. Why this almost a kind of weapon you cannot even think about to bring down this giant of a man, Goliath, with all the experience that he had? And again, because God wanted to send a signal in the camp of Israel, including you and me in our time. Reading this very story, understand this story, that look, the battle is the Lord's. It is never ours. It is God who works in and through us. And therefore, because it is in his interest to make sure that I realize my destiny, you realize your destiny, and therefore it ought to resonate within us that no matter whatever threat we encounter, no matter whatever the devil brings our way, anybody who threatens you, you must always discern that there is a voice of the enemy that is also trying to counter what God has in store for you and I. And so the story of David itself is remarkable and certainly quite informing on many levels. But what I want to emphasize this day is that discouragement, when you succumb to discouragement, when you yield to discouragement, when you give in to discouragement, it can destroy your destiny. It's amazing how many times you read the Bible, God will tell his prophets, his servants, fear not, fear not, fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, I will defend you. Fear not, I will deliver you. Why? Because God realizes once fear sets in, then discouragement will come in like mighty waters, like a flood. But in that very moment, for you to recognize that once you open up the door of your heart, the door of your spirit, the door of your soul, so that discouragement sets in, enters in, and occupies the space within you, you're gone. The destiny is gone. And I would like to believe that the encounters that David had prior to this very moment of his encounter with Goliath really set him up, prepared him, as it were, for this greater moment. Now, observe this. When we talk about destiny here, we don't mean destiny does not just occur or comes to be just in a moment. No. In other words, destiny is in phases. Destiny is in phases. Okay? So you move from one level to another level, to another level, to another level, or from one dimension to another dimension to another dimension. And so it's very important for us to understand that on a daily basis, we are going to encounter moments that are going to present themselves to us in order to introduce fear to us. so that we can be discouraged. And to be fair, discouragement can come in many ways. It can be through words, somebody speaking to you, words of discouragement. And so, like the way Saul spoke to David here, oh, my friend, you're just a youth. This man is an experienced individual. Goliath himself, from his own youth. You know, you're just starting. You just can't compare to this particular gentleman here, or his individual. So those words really were, in essence, really, were aimed at introducing fear into David. But David rose up above this threshold of fear. So words can be very, very discouraging. Watch out for those who bring words of discouragement to you. Be alert. Your adversary, the devil, roams about, seeking whom to devour. He can devour through words. Words of desire. To devour is to destroy. So the devil can destroy your destiny because of discouragement coming through words. Now, let me ask you a question. Look at your life. Now, reflect upon your own life. Have there been instances or occasions in your life that somebody spoke words of discouragement to you? And you say to them, oh my goodness, how could this person say this? This is devastating. But you see, in some ways, we cannot stop other people from speaking words of discouragement. In fact, to a large extent, it is difficult for us to stop people from speaking words of discouragement. But it is possible for us to counter words of discouragement. That is to say, we can stand on God's word and say, no, God has not given me a spirit of fear. He's given me a spirit of sound mind. And love what David says later. He said, look, some may trust in horses, others in chariots, but we shall remember the name of the Lord, as he did here, as he confronted Goliath. And so it is very important for us to watch out, to be alert, okay, to be sensitive to the source of words of discouragement that other people may speak to us. Words. Secondly, discouragement can also come in the form of works, deeds, if you will, okay? Somebody will do something that's going to send an fear or discouragement to you. For example, you may be doing something and somebody comes around and looks at you in a way that sends a message, okay? That, oh my goodness. Now, I'm talking about this now. We're not talking about these are non-verbal words, okay? So works. So someone just looking at you, just the demeanor itself, just the mere look at you, sizes you up, and you're despised. Okay. Or they'll do something to discourage you, for example. You may do something that you think deserves commendation. So instead of the person telling you, well done, and the person doesn't even say, well done, it's as if you have not done anything, you have not achieved anything. And they look elsewhere. So those kind of instances can open up space for discouragement. So watch out. Be careful. Be alert. Do not entertain those kind of things. Now, let me say this. When Saul took his armor, his clothes, his weapons to give to this young man, David, implicitly here, Saul is saying to David, look, you have no covering. You have no protection. You can't stand this man. So maybe with your sense of arrogance, let me just help you. Okay. But so David was wise enough, discerning enough to know, I've never tasted this. After all, when God delivered me, when I was confronted by a lion and a bear, you weren't there. I wasn't wearing even this kind of, I had no weapon. Okay. I wasn't even wearing anything. I used my bare arms with God on my side. And yet I saw victory. And so Discouragement can come through words, spoken words, or just deeds, actions. People's own actions can send an element, okay, a sense of discouragement to you. So be alert, okay, be discerning, be careful. Observe how people conduct themselves in your presence. How are they coming across? So discern. Do you think, is that which the person is doing to me, is it meant to encourage or discourage? If it is meant to encourage, thank God, you embrace it, of course. If it is meant to discourage, rise up above that. Draw strength from the pages of scriptures. Derive strength from God's own word, of prayer included as well. When you do that, then you are setting yourself up now for victory. Remember this, my brothers and sisters. You can never stop people from acting untowardly, conducting themselves maybe in a way, to a certain extent, okay? But what we know, what we can do on a personal level is to ensure that what they do, their works, their deeds, their actions, do not open up the door of discouragement to us. That's very, very important. Thirdly, discouragement can also come through maybe just dreams. Okay? Remember, dreams can come from God. They can also come from the enemy. So, for example, you may be attending an interview in the next few days, okay? And you have a dream, and in that dream, you find that, oh my goodness, perhaps you failed or something went terribly wrong. Remember this, the devil is sending signals in the course of that very dream, okay? It is meant really to introduce an element of fear to you. But the devil knows what's coming. Okay? So once you are discouraged, especially if you believe you're a Christian, and say, oh my goodness, oh, this dream is disturbing me. Well, realize dreams can have two sources fundamentally, either from God or from the devil. And sometimes it can just be a dream, really, just an ordinary dream based on what you encountered in the course of the day. Okay? Or what you're thinking about. But all things being equal, really, the two fundamental sources of dreams have to do either with God or the devil. Okay? Well, God giving a dream to Joseph. I've talked over and over about these things, I think, in my series when I talked about dreams depicting destiny. Okay? But fundamentally here, the goal, the purpose of the dream, in that case, that the devil may introduce to you, in light of what is coming forth, you may find that he's just trying to bring the element of discouragement. So you may attend the interview, you may have even given up. Behind, you say, oh my God, I think I'm done. Listen to me very well. If you're going to cross over from where you are to where you ought to be, if you're going to cross over from where you are to your destiny, what God has in store for you, remember, there are hurdles there. There are barricades. There are barriers. There are stumbling blocks. And one of the chief stumbling blocks that the enemy uses to stand in our way so we don't cross over, we don't achieve our destiny, is discouragement. That's why I said discouragement destroys destiny. When you succumb to discouragement, you can destroy your destiny. So don't give any room whatsoever to the enemy. Don't allow him. Don't allow the devil to intimidate you. Don't allow any words of discouragement to stick to your heart. Don't allow any actions, works, deeds to introduce an element of discouragement to you. Say to yourself, the Lord is with me. The mighty one of Jacob is on my side. If God be for me, who can be against me? I know the Lord God of Israel, who redeemed me yesterday, last month, as it were, decades ago, will deliver me this time also. In other words, you are not just drawing strength from your own self, from your own flesh. You're drawing strength from the pages of scriptures, from your relationship with God, who has pledged over and over, fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you. Beloved, listen to me very well. If you are going to achieve your destiny, if you are going to experience your destiny, whether to do with your career, marriage, education, business, ministry, etc., etc., watch out for discouragement. It can destroy your destiny. Don't give it any room. I pray that the God of Israel, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ himself, will grant you the grace to rise up above all kinds of discouragement. Remember, Christ himself, people discouraged him, or at least they attempted to discourage him. Can anything good come from Nazareth? I mean, who are you? They will follow Moses. We don't follow him. No, 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 we know you. A carpenter's son? No. What do you think you are? The very Son of God. But he rose up above discouragement. Okay? And so he knew, Christ knew, that discouragement destroys destiny. Look at when Peter said, no one is going to kill you. No, 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 no. And Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan. Why? The devil wanted to discourage Christ. He rose up above that. Friends, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who because of the joy set ahead of him endured the pain of the cross, discouragement as it were. Okay, he prayed himself. Okay, in fact, the angels came to minister to him, and we are told that he prayed with sweat, like drops of blood flowing from his very face, as it were. Say, Father, if possible, take this cup from me. They said, no, in the same breath, he said, no, nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. In other words, you recognize, no, this is my moment. My destiny is now about to unfold. Today, we're talking about Jesus to be the only way, the truth, and the life. If you've never made a decision to receive him to be your Lord, to be your Savior, there's no other better destiny you can achieve in life than to give your life to him. Live for him, and then all shall be well with you. I hope God has spoken to you through these moments from the pages of the scripture. I hope you know today that discouragement destroys destiny. Watch out for discouragement, either through words or through works. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to you joining me again next time, if Christ tarries. God bless you, and thank you.